It's better
Describe it.
texture.
Way better texture than
Way better texture than the last time.
what?
Oh.
What is that aftertaste? Oh my gosh!
Hi.
I'm wearing my Kids Mental Health Foundation sweatshirt today for
I
our
see
special guest.
that for our special guest. I see that. I love that.
I know we're welcoming a new person to our neighborhood.
And I'm giving you a bright pink today for our special guest because I'm so excited about it and it makes me think pink. I don't know
You
why.
know what? Pink is such a good color on you. I feel like you don't wear pink enough, and I feel like you should.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A little pink moment. I'm just saying. Well, wait, we got to get into it.
Let's get into it.
Let's do this. Hey, everybody. I'm Michael James Scott.
And I'm Ashley Eckstein.
And welcome to
HypeFriend.
Oh, I'm so excited about today, Ashley. I really am. We're like getting into it. We're like really getting into it, and we're building our hype hood, which is really exciting. So I'm thrilled that we get to do this today, and it's so important. And you have been such a beacon of light, especially for well, I won't give too much away, but with all of your amazing Mental Health Monday, all of that work that you're doing. I'm just excited that we get to have this guest be a part of now our hype hood. It's going to be a guest today, and then it's our neighbor, it's our friend, it's all the things.
Yes. I am thrilled to introduce you to our new neighbor today, Dr. Ariana Hoet, and we'll meet her in just a little bit. But, you know, I'm one of those people that I genuinely love connecting my friends. So
yes, that is true, everybody. That is very true. She literally connects the dots on like so many people. She's like, I got you here, Baba. Oh, you want? Oh, okay, great. So you can talk. Okay, great. And then that friend will. I mean, it's literally crazy on the most amazing, like, a monumental level. I'm like, holy moly.
You know, I kind of consider that one of my like superpowers is just connection. But while I try to bring other people joy and connecting people, but really it just brings me so much joy when I know that I bring two people together that should be connected and hopefully they form a friendship. I mean, there's nothing that brings me greater joy. So we'll get to that in a minute. But you know what also brings me joy?
What's that?
Is baking. And so, Michael, I know we can't always do Ashley Bakes because you're not here. And sometimes, I don't have the time to bake. But I love it. And I'm not always great at it.
Which is my husband's favorite, P.S.
But I'm going to have a very special guest for Ashley Bakes today since you can't be here to try it.
Oh.
My OG taste tester, my husband, David.
Oh.
So let's bring in David.
For Ashley Bakes.
Okay, David, come on in. Welcome to HypeFriends.
What are you doing to me?
We have been trying so hard to get our husbands on an episode. Jeremy, you're next.
Yep.
I'm looking
Jeremy
at
is
you.
next. Yep, he's next.
But David, welcome.
Thank you.
David, I must say, you look like you make a gorgeous Michael James Scott.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this right now.
So, Michael, I kind of wrangled David into this because, I love baking, like I said.
Yes.
And, since you couldn't be here, I didn't want to not do the segment because baking brings me such joy. And so, like I said, David's my OG taste tester. He's always trying my bakes. And I know he'll be honest with me.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Sometimes too honest.
So what did you bake today? I'm ready. Like, what is it?
Well, okay. So David, first of all, he's not really a dessert person or sweets person, which is kind of sacrilege.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
a pizza person.
He is a pizza person. We know this, but I try to get him to like my bakes. So David is actually a pudding person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Random, right?
okay.
So he likes vanilla pudding, sometimes chocolate pudding, and Whole Foods had a perfect pudding like box mixture that I could mix with some dairy free like oat milk, and it made the perfect pudding. And so I made it all the time. It was delicious, foolproof, and then they've stopped carrying it.
Oh,
Oh, Whole Foods, what are you doing? Where is your pudding mix? So I've had to resort to try to make my own pudding. Because we both need to be dairy free, and I am on the search for the perfect pudding. In full disclosure, I already have one failed attempt.
Oh yeah.
And David tried it. What did you think of my first?
he said, "Oh
attempt?
yeah."
I don't even. That was the most futuristic pudding I've ever tasted.
Futuristic.
What you would see like on the Jetsons or something like that. It was nothing to do with pudding. I'll tell you that. I don't even know what it was.
It was a little chewy.
Have you ever had chewy pudding? That's not
Whoa.
that's crunchy.
Whoa.
Well, pudding's not supposed to be crunchy.
I know, but it was like you had to chew it to eat it.
Now,
It did
Michael,
not dissolve in your mouth.
Oh God.
I hear that this is like your worst nightmare.
Literally, it is a full nightmare right now. Like,
So you don't like puddings or jellos?
don't even say it. Don't even say it. The G word. Gelatinous.
Well,
Oh God.
my first attempt was very gelatinous.
Yes.
Oof.
Yes.
Okay.
So I decided to this is a homemade pudding. It's a vanilla pudding. I added some bananas. So I made this a banana pudding today.
Okay.
There is an unintended secret ingredient.
Oh gosh.
Keyword unintended.
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 Unintended
Did you
secret.
get distracted or something? Like, why do you have an unintended?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Why am I sweating? And I'm not even having I'm starting to sweat.
So undo the top. Ooh. Give it a whiff.
You've ever had to smell your pudding before you can eat it?
What is
Michael,
it?
there might be an open room in the house after.
What does it smell like?
Are you serious right now?
It doesn't smell bad.
Yes, it does. What is that? Like, it does not smell.
I'm not gonna tell you until after you take a bite.
I'm dead right now.
This is the person that like you put something in the garbage can and like she's across the room like, oh my gosh, I can smell it. I can
Same.
smell it.
Okay. This is already less gelatinous than the first pass.
Already, and then y'all gonna taste it. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. What is it?
It's better
Describe it.
texture.
Way better texture than
Way better texture than the last time.
What
Oh.
what is that aftertaste? Oh my gosh. Holy smokes.
It hits you.
It's like grass. I don't know. It's like
I thought it was really good and then it hits you. So, man, but that is an improvement on last time.
no, it was not.
Well, So,
Last time you had to just deal with like the texture of it. Now you got to deal with the aftertaste.
I'm,
The last time it
I'm,
wasn't that bad, but it was just the texture. That is terrible.
well, okay.
Like,
There was an unfortunate incident that happened.
like
I said to continuously stir, and I did, but I had the stove up too high, and I burned it.
oh no.
So all of a sudden, I
my
see like
was that why you screamed last night?
Where are we on our rating, right? In terms of the Ashley Bakes rate scale, where are we? If we were going from,
He's willing to take another
Well, no,
bite.
I want to
He's
try the
willing to
banana part because
Okay.
if the banana part tastes like that, then my rating will definitely
See,
go even
you
further
gotta
down.
give it. You gotta give it a fair shake. That had a chunk on it. That had like a brown chunk. See,
Okay.
the banana's better.
Because of the banana.
Oh.
Because of the banana. I mean, at the highest level I could ever get.
Wait, is this a scale out of a 5 or 10?
I mean, well, you probably want me to go 10.
Okay.
I mean, like, because I'm gonna go a 2. Because like the banana like is fine. But
Okay.
that pudding, it would have been a 0.
a 2 out of 10?
And no, like
Oh my
you
gosh.
saw her face.
Well, you know what this means, Michael? Because clearly I still have to be on my search for the perfect pudding recipe.
Yes,
And
yes.
so next time you're here, I will attempt the perfect pudding. David, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us on HypeFriend. You are now officially free to go. But there's no promises that that you don't have to try my next bake.
Very sad and maybe happy that I was not there.
I don't, are you really sad? I mean, when it's gelatinous, I know.
That word is literally, oh gosh, that goes into the gripes area. We're gonna go as we go into our next segment of the hypes and the gripes. The word gelatinous is literally crazy to me. I don't know why, but that word, I don't know. There's something about the word gelatinous.
I feel like to describe something as gelatinous is just not appetizing. And that would be the perfect word for what I baked today. Gelatinous.
Well, there you have it.
Oh my gosh. I think David is griping about my Ashley Bakes today. But I think we should get into our hypes and gripes, Michael.
Yes, let's definitely get into some hypes and gripes for today. Oh gosh, well, what are your hypes and your gripes, Miss Ashley Eckstein?
You know, I was thinking a lot about this. I actually have many hypes and gripes right now, so it was kind of hard to pick what I wanted to talk about for this episode. But I want to talk about when you're staying with a friend. So, which this is kind of a loaded topic. But I feel like friendships can really be tested when you stay with someone.
Ooh.
Right? So, okay, my hype is when a friend comes to stay with you. Because I love when friends come to stay with me. I'm one of those people where I'm like, hey, come to Orlando. Let's go to Disney World. We're going to have the best time. I like to say that Disney magic is my love language. I love to just share some Disney magic when people come and stay. So that's my hype. I've had a lot of house guests this year. I love my house guests. I love my friends who come to visit.
Including your friend Michael James Scott.
Yes,
We have been.
including my friend Michael James Scott and his husband Jeremy Merrifield. I love when y'all come to stay, and that is only hyped. There are no gripes when you come to stay. No gripes. So let me preface that when I'm about to go into this gripe, I am not talking about any of my friends specifically at all. So please, no one take this personally. In fact, it's my gripe is more of me learning. I think when I go into somebody else's space, but my gripe is when people come into your space and they don't treat your space like you want it to be treated. And I think people really need to be mindful that when you go into somebody else's space, you might not do things the same. You might not take your shoes off. You might not have your refrigerator perfectly organized. You might not make your bed. You might not do certain things that your friends do. But if you're going into their space, that's their space. So I think it's important to find out kind of what the house rules are and respect those rules. So this is totally a bad example. And our good friend Brett Iwin, he's going to be like, Ashley, why'd you bring this up? For lack of a better example, I'll bring it up. I stay with them a lot. They actually have a guest room, and they're so kind. It's always open to me, and I can always go and stay with Brett and his husband, Bo. But when I go there, I open up their refrigerator, and it is like perfectly organized, like perfectly, like everything is perfectly lined up. Everything has its space. Now, when you come to my house, our refrigerator is anything but that. It looks like a tornado went off inside our refrigerator. There is no rhyme or reason. Nothing has a place. And I mean, I'm actually very embarrassed by it, but my husband David and I, it's just not the way our brain thinks. We're lucky if it made it into the refrigerator. So when I go to Brett and Bo's house, I make sure, because sometimes I'll go grocery shopping and I'll bring the things that I want to eat and put it in the refrigerator. I make sure that I line everything up. Everything is in its proper place. And especially if they buy things for me, I put it back in the place that I grabbed it from. So on one hand, that's a silly example, but I think it's a good example of saying, I am going into their space and I want to make sure that I treat it as they treat it. And I think where friendships can sometimes be tested and go wrong is when, somebody comes into your space and they don't respect it. And they kind of bring their own chaos into your world. And the older I've gotten, I try to be mindful of, as soon as I get to someone's space, I'm like, well, what are the rules? What should I do? What should I not do? What do you like? What do you not like? So yeah, I guess that's my gripe is when somebody comes in and just like doesn't respect the space.
Now listen, I definitely hear you. I appreciate, I definitely hear what you're saying, but I have opened what you're calling a tornado refrigerator, and it literally has every type of milk available possible. So so for me, I'm in. Like, I'm in for that. The tornado of it all. There's every type of milk, every type of water, every type of cheese. So I'm all in. I get it. I definitely hear you about it. But listen, I'm in for the tornado of what your, in quotes, tornado is. It's not a tornado. It's literally like a grocery store. I think of like every aisle in the grocery store in the refrigerator.
It's true. It's true. It's not pretty. But that's kind of my life. It's not necessarily pretty how I get there, but I'll get there just fine. But it's not pretty. So anyways, Michael, what's your hype and gripe today?
Oh gosh. So my hype, it's actually a hype and a gripe, kind of mixed together. But we, my husband and I, we lost our French bulldog, Miss Chloe Felicia Chanel Merrifield.
Yes.
And it is, and for those, for those our community out there, grief is tough on so many levels, and there's so many stages. My hype is the fact that we had this amazing creature in our lives for 11 beautiful years, and my husband and I, truly, I mean, she brought all the joy and love that you can ever imagine, to the point where we I don't even think we really realized how much it was. I mean, she just cracked our hearts open in the most big, brilliant, beautiful way. And so my hype is loving on this creature, and how this creature taught us so much, uh, and truly, truly made us look at things in a different way. My gripe is that we lost her,
Yeah.
and that we lost her to cancer. We lost her to lymphoma. She battled 2.5 years with this disease, which is, let alone for a human, 2.5 years is a long time. So you can imagine on that little body, what that was. But she was a fighter, and she fought to the very, very last breath, to stay. And so my gripe is truly, like, really not realizing how hard it was going to be. We knew it was going to be hard, but man,
Mm.
it has been harder than we could ever have imagined. And
Ugh.
that's where we are. That's where we are today. And I can, of course, you say, like, it's going to be okay and all those things, but right now it sucks, and it's
Yeah.
tough, and it's like, it feels so unfair on so many levels. And that's just where I am today, like, just being truthful and honest with our community out there, of this is my stage right now, of just feeling so sad, and trying to stay in the light, but it's hard to.
Michael, I am so sorry, and I'm sending all of my love to you and your husband Jeremy.
Thank you.
And you know, I I didn't get to meet Miss Chloe,
I
but I feel
know.
like I know her because, you would always post her on Instagram, and she just, or I'd see her on Zoom, and she was just the most beautiful creature. And I think the thing with pets, and we're both pet people, unfortunately, my husband's listening to this and he's like, no, we're not, because he wants a dog so bad. But we travel so much. So unfortunately, we don't have a pet of our own, but all of our family members have pets, and pets are family members. I
They
mean,
are.
bottom line. So when you lose a pet, it's such a loss.
It's an interesting thing with pets, because they are the definition of hype friend.
Yes.
Right. Just just with you coming home, and they are there no matter what. I mean, it is they hype you up, and
Yes.
that's what they live for. And, so there's an incredible thing about, friendship, and your love, and your relationship, and that connection with your pet. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and so much to learn from. So I'm sending a lot of love to some of our community out there who may have lost their pets, or have experienced that, and what that is, and what that feels like, because it's a tough thing. But I am grateful that friends have reached out, and just given love virtually, on the phone, all the things, and we feel it. So thank you.
Well, Michael, so I was thinking a lot today about the good gossip.
Ooh, yes, yes. Okay. So what you got? You got some good gossip for us?
You know, Yes, and this one is also very bittersweet,
Mm.
um, because it's about a friend of mine who I only met once. His name was Spencer.
Mm.
We lost Spencer. Spencer lost his battle to cancer,
Mm.
um, but Spencer absolutely changed my life, and he'll always be a part of my life. I was so fortunate to be introduced to Spencer by a fellow Star Wars actress. Her name is Emily Swallow. She plays the armorer in shows like The Mandalorian. And Spencer was coming to Walt Disney World for his Make a Wish. And Emily couldn't be there, and she asked me, she said, "Hey, Spencer is a fan of yours, of Ahsoka Tano. Would you mind just showing up to Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios and just saying hi to Spencer?" Well, Spencer and his family, they were there. I worked with Spencer's mom to make it a surprise for Spencer, and the Make a Wish Foundation. They just did
They
such a
are
wonderful job.
an incredible organization.
Incredible
Oh,
organization, setting up Spencer and his family for just an amazing day at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So I show up, and I wasn't sure kind of what the plan was, what I was walking into, if I was just going to say hello, and if the family, had to run off to other plans, but I was up for anything.
mm.
Well, I got there. It was just the most amazing surprise. Spencer was just such a light in this world. And the first thing he had to do was make a lightsaber. Well, Spencer asked me if I would stay with him, and he was in a wheelchair at the time, and he asked if I would push his wheelchair and go in with him and make his lightsaber. And so, of course, I was honored to join him. But as I ask about their plans for the day, other than making a lightsaber and making a droid, that's all they had planned. And I ran into my friend Roberto. Now, this good gossip is about Roberto and all of the amazing Disney cast members who immediately sprang into action. So I saw Roberto, and I quietly shared with Roberto what was happening and why I was there that day. There was no media, there was no press. This was honestly just kind of Emily asked me to go meet her friend Spencer, and that's what I did. Disney, other than Make a Wish, kind of setting up the experience for
Yeah.
Spencer and his family. This wasn't like an official visit. So Roberto and the other Disney cast members didn't even know that we were going to be there. So I see my friend Roberto, and I quietly tell him, what's happening. And we went in and we did the lightsaber experience. And when we came, which was incredible. So shout out to all of
Yes.
the amazing Disney cast members.
The lightsaber situation is no joke.
It is no
It's
joke.
amazing.
Absolutely amazing. We came out, and Roberto met us. All of this is in in character. I feel like I'm breaking a little bit of Disney magic at the moment, but when you're at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and on the planet of Batuu, everything is in character. You're
Yes.
in world. So Roberto met us, and literally within that 20 minutes that we were in there building Spencer's lightsaber, all the cast members found out that Spencer was there, and the rest of their time had already been planned out. Roberto met us, and we were escorted from place to place. All of the characters came out to meet him, and they took what
Oh.
was already the most magical day into something that was beyond all of our expectations. And I had to share this today as part of the good gossip, because again, none of this was planned.
Yeah.
This was Roberto seeing something that was happening, and he decided to make a magical moment, and he decided to pull in the rest of the Disney cast members to make this as magical as it could possibly be for Spencer. And at the end of the day, when it was done, we were there for 3 hours. And when it was all done, Spencer looked up at me and I somehow held it together because there was so much joy. And he looked up at me and he said, "This was better than I ever could have imagined." And he said, "Thank you for doing this for me." And, I was just honored to be there to experience with him. But I wanted to share this story, to share with Roberto, to share with the Disney cast members, because they did that. Thank you to all of the cast members that made that day so magical for Spencer. Thank you to the Make-A-Wish Foundation for providing this opportunity to Spencer and his family. Also, thank you to Give Kids the World. Spencer and his family were staying at Give Kids the World. So it was just an incredible experience. And I had to share this good gossip story to just give a shout out to all of the Disney cast members and Make-A-Wish team members and Give Kids the World team members who are working so hard and doing so much good when, honestly, they weren't asked to. Roberto wasn't asked to do that. Nobody was watching. He did it on his own because it was the right thing to do. So
That's amazing. That is some good gossip. That is some good gossip. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Michael, speaking of good gossip, you're about to find out how amazing my friend Dr. Ariana Hoet is.
Is it time? Is it time?
It's time.
Oh gosh.
It's time. We have another neighborhood segment, and I'm just so excited to introduce you to the one, the only Dr. Ariana Hoet. She is a good friend of mine. I've been working with the Kids Mental Health Foundation for many, many years.
Yes.
And I'm a huge advocate for mental health, but I am learning. I am not an expert in mental health, and I have an amazing team led by Dr. Ariana Hoet that I work with at the Kids Mental Health Foundation, and I'm just a sponge. They've been teaching me so much about mental health, and so, of course, as we're building our HypeHood, as we're building our neighborhood, we need a neighborhood doctor, right?
Amen. Yes, we need a neighborhood fierce, gorgeous doctor.
Well, she is that. She is absolutely amazing. And you know what? Nothing brings me greater joy, truly, than to introduce two of my friends. Just to do a little introduction, Dr. Ariana Hoet is a pediatric psychologist at Nationwide Children's Hospital, but she's also the executive clinical director for the Kids Mental Health Foundation. It's a free resource for kids' mental health. They're truly like the leaders of children's mental health in our nation. You can go to kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org. But guess what? We have her here on HypeFriend, and she's going to teach us all about how to be the best Hype Friend. So let's bring her in, Michael. Please welcome Dr. Ariana Hoet.
Yay! Oh my gosh, Dr. Hoet, welcome to HypeFriend. We are so happy to have you. Ashley obviously has had, you all have been friends, and y'all have been together for a while, and it is incredible to be able to hear so many amazing stories from Ashley about you, and also learn of your work. So I am so thrilled that you are here, and I am so excited. It's literally, I'm meeting the Dr. Hoet. Like, I'm meeting the Dr. Hoet. So this is amazing.
Thank you guys. I'm so excited to be here.
We are honored to have you. For those that have been following me for a while, you are familiar with Dr. Hoet. I do Mental Health Monday Instagram Lives every month, and Dr. Hoet joins me, and we talk about various topics about mental health and mental well-being and mindfulness, and we've covered quite the array of topics. And I've been doing Mental Health Monday since 2018. And so I'm just honored that I've had the chance to work with Dr. Hoet, as well as on many projects. So I did a series for Star Wars called Star Wars Mindful Matters. It's on YouTube for Star Wars kids. You can just type in Star Wars Mindful Matters. I also worked with Dr. Hoet on a Star Wars book called Star Wars Every Day, where we have some mindfulness exercises in there. And I have these ideas, but then I go to Dr. Hoet and I say, okay, from a clinical perspective, is this correct? And we just make a good team. So, Dr. Hoet, I could go on and on and on about how amazing you are and how awesome it has been to work together. But we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it because we have so many questions for you. First of all, what do your patients call you? Because I've asked you this before, but I want to kind of set the tone for Michael. I, in a formal sense, say Dr. Ariana Hoet, but what do your patients call you?
You know what? That's a great question because I do introduce myself as Dr. Ariana Hoet, but then after that, it's just Ariana. My friends call me Ari, my family calls me Ari, but in clinic, it is just Ariana. Some patients will still call me Dr. Ariana, but yeah, Ari is fine.
I mean, I might still give you the doctor title because, listen, you are a doctor of something, and that's amazing. So I like saying Dr.
You know
Hoet.
what? My most excited time when I book a plane ticket is to pick that little doctor. But when you're writing, I'm like, I'm gonna click it.
You earned it. I go back and forth between Dr. Hoet and Dr. Ari, so I'm probably going to call you both. But Dr. Hoet, see, I just did it. I said Dr. Hoet. Okay, so we're building our hype hood. We're building our neighborhood, kind of inspired by Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. And we would love for you to be our neighborhood doctor and just come on from time to time, answer our questions, because we're on a journey. We're starting a friendship revolution, one hype friend at a time. But we're learning, right?
Yes.
Right, part of Hype Friend actually came from many of our conversations and a lot of the work that we do with the Kids Mental Health Foundation. And you had sent me an article about loneliness and how there's a loneliness epidemic happening. And, Michael and I were talking and we were just like, what can we do? How can we help? And so that's part of why Hype Friend was born. But can we just talk about loneliness for a second? What is the connection between loneliness and mental health?
Yeah, so we know that feeling connected, feeling like you belong, like you have your friends and your group and your place in the world, your community, is a basic human need. So I'm talking like we need water, we need food, we need fresh air and oxygen, we need friends. And so right now, we are so isolated as a community that the Surgeon General a few years ago released a statement saying this is a public health crisis. We're too isolated. We're too lonely. And so of course we're seeing increased depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts and behaviors. It's because people are feeling so isolated. And so this is so important, what you guys are talking about, and being a hype friend and being there for each other. It is a basic need. We all need that.
I want to go back to kind of what you just said, because, you've taught me so much, but I haven't looked at it this way. As we kind of make our to-do list for the day and we list out our basic needs, your basic needs are food, water, sleep, friendship. I think on most people's lists of basic needs, friendship is not on the list. I mean, Michael, have you thought of it that way?
I've never thought of that way. And you literally said, and you compared it to oxygen, which is that. So as you're saying that, Ashley, like that same kind of a thing, it's the list. It's literally a part of our everyday need. I've never thought of it that way. And it's actually pretty, it's actually pretty profound to think of it in that way. And especially when you do have a list, because that's a actually pretty tangible thing for you to to think about. You know what I mean? Like it's a very special, tangible thing to think about. And I feel like I forget about that. Like myself, like I forget about that. And when you do think about that as a specific tangible need, I think it could change the perspective of your whole day just from the start.
Well, okay, you mentioned tangible, Michael, and this is something that we've already been talking a lot about on HypeFriend, um, about connection in person.
Mm.
Yes, we're all connecting virtually right now, and that is a beautiful thing that we have the ability to do. But one thing that you've taught me, Dr. Hoet, and one thing we talk about here on the podcast is the importance of getting together in person, the importance of physical touch, of giving someone a hug, of being able to look someone in the eye and sitting down and having a meal with them. So can you talk about the importance of like physical connection and touch and being in person and having like a tangible interaction?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to connection, it's about the quality, right? It's not about I have hundreds of friends, but are these friends there for us? Do they make us feel good? Do they make us feel proud of ourselves and push us to be better? And so that in-person piece is important. It's being able to distract yourself from the world, right? Distract yourself from the
Mm.
stressors of the world and be there with that person. And I think what happens a lot right now is we find ourselves busy and we start to feel like we don't have time for that. And phones do help us connect more, but the quality is not the same. It is not the same as I am pausing my life to be here with you, right? You are important to me. We're stopping everything and we're going to have this meal together or watch this movie together, whatever. We're going on a walk. But it is that time to just connect, and that is your only goal in that moment. It is very, very different than I'm going to send a quick text or a phone call on my drive home from work, right? It's the quality that really matters.
I am pausing my life to be with you. I love that sort of takeaway in that statement, because there's an interesting thing about, because everyone's busy, right? I mean, the word like I'm busy is like I feel we all it's like it's right. I feel like everyone says it so much. Like there's
It's true.
it,
And that kind of sometimes bothers me when somebody says, "Oh, you're so busy. I don't want to bother you because you're so busy." And yes, it's true, but at the same time, no, I might be busy, but I'm choosing to be with you and spend my time with you. And so, you know, I want you to bother me. It's okay. I want your friendship.
You know what I don't love is there's this new pattern on social media where it's kind of a joke, but I'm like, this isn't funny, guys. Like the memes of when you look at your shared calendar as an adult, you look at your calendar and it's like, well, I guess I'll see you in 2 years because we're just too busy to meet up with our friends, right? And it's this constant joke on social media of, oh, as adults, you want to see your friend, but you don't have time. And it's like, no, this isn't funny. We have to stop. We have to spend time together. You have to find time for the people that you care about.
so that is Dr. Fierce Ariana Hoet's gripe
Yeah.
right there. That is your
Yes.
gripe for today. And that's a really that's interesting too, because it has now become so normal that it is actually like a playful thing like that, which is very interesting in terms of we've moved so past it being in our reality that we pause our life for friends, that we've now it's become more of a joke. Like we're so numb to it that it's become more of a funny thing. And that's actually really great for us to highlight that and remember that, because that's really extreme.
Dr. Howitz, we actually do a segment called Hypes and Gripes, and things that we're hyped about and things that we're kind of griped about. So that's what Michael is referencing, is that's your gripe. But in terms of friendship, what are you hyped about?
Oh my gosh. I mean, friendship is just the most powerful tool. I was once asked if you had one topic that you could say, this is the thing for mental health. This is the thing that will protect people. Hardest question I've ever gotten. But also not really, because I said it's connection. It's belonging. It's our community. It is.
Mm.
Research finds when we look at, for example, kids with a lot of trauma, difficult life experiences, we look at people living in difficult systems of poverty, those that are more connected tend to be more resilient, tend to be better. So I am talking even in these extremes of people going through really hard life situations, those friendships are a buffer to them. And research also tells us the more quality connections you have, the longer lifespan, the less health problems you have. I mean, it is truly this magic wand. It helps us. So again, to go back, it is a basic need. We have to prioritize this for ourselves.
Okay, what you just said is so powerful and so amazing, and actually addresses something that I encounter a lot, because people often say to me, they're like, "Thank you for doing your mental health Mondays. Sometimes I just feel so helpless, and I don't know how I can help." And what you just said is exactly how we all can help. We can all be a hype friend. We can all be that friend in someone's life to make them feel seen, to make them feel like they belong, and to be there for them. And to hear you say that is like the most powerful piece of advice is really incredible. And Michael, I feel like we're all onto something, with our hype friend community. Anyone listening here, we can truly all make a difference, and that's incredible. I mean, Michael, aren't you kind of shocked to hear
I,
that?
I'm shocked, and also it's really beautiful to hear, because it's so important for us and why we did start this. But to have a fierce doctor, say it, really, I think is also a wonderful thing for us all to really know that it actually is needed. So it's an incredible thing. Now, doctor, you mentioned I mean, well, I know this. So you've worked with children your entire professional career, which is just incredible. What do people get wrong about children and their mental health?
Well, thinking that they don't have anything to worry about, right? You're a kid. What is there for you to be depressed about? Or you have nothing to worry. I hear parents say all the time, like, "Well, I've given my child everything. They have a home, they have food. Why are they depressed?" Right? And so it's misunderstanding the human experience. And something I often hear when it comes to friendship is thinking that kids don't need friends. I hear parents say all the time, like, "You have me, you have your family. You don't trust other kids," or it comes a lot of the times from fear. You want to protect your kids from peer pressure and negative influences, and so parents feel this need to kind of keep them at home, and you come to me if you need something, or you spend time together with me. And so I have to have a lot of conversations with adults of actually it is developmentally needed for a child to practice social skills, for a child to have conflict with friends, for a child to build new friendships and maintain the friendships. Because if you shield them when they become adults, how are they going to know to have a healthy romantic relationship? How are they going to know how to interact with colleagues and coworkers? And so these are skills that they need to go through. They need to develop the tough and the good.
You just said again something else that I think is so important, and I didn't realize this until I started working with you all, is that kids have to learn how to become friends. Like, you don't just pop out of the womb and know how to be a friend. It's a learned skill. And I think that's something, especially after what we've been through the past several years after COVID and a global shutdown. I think we all, in a sense, have to learn how to become friends again. And that's what we're trying to do here with HypeFriend, is talk about those social skills, kind of talk about the do's and don'ts. How to be a hype friend. What does that mean? And that's a reminder for parents that we have to teach kids how to be friends, but also for us adults, I think we constantly have to remind ourselves, how can we be a good friend? What does that look like? What does that mean? So, Dr. Hoet, what does being a hype friend mean to you?
For me, and it's funny because I just had this conversation with my 5-year-old a few days ago. To me, it's not a competition. We are not competing with our friends. We
Yes.
are there for each other. We are
Mm.
proud of each other. We make each other better. We build each other up. We also call each other out, and that's important. I don't want to be surrounded by people
Ooh.
that just let me make mistakes and do terrible things. Like, no, call me out. Tell me when I can be better. But to your point, Ashley, we have to teach these things. My 5-year-old, we just went to a birthday party. She made this comment of, "Oh, so and so is prettier than me today," and I was like, "Pause." We did not enter the birthday party. We are having a conversation, right? Like that. No, we're not competing on who's prettier, especially young girl. Like we want our friend to be pretty. We want our friend to look great, and you're gonna compliment her and be proud that she looks so good. And you want a friend that does the same for you back, because that's the other skill, right? To know when a friendship maybe isn't helping us. And so yeah, we wanna hype each other up, but kids need to learn how to do that.
Ari, real quick question for you while you're just in talking about that. Do you think that she and her friends were talking about, like, the fact that she said that in that moment right before you all walked in and you addressed it, which I love that you addressed it right there. But do you think that they were talking about that? Is she talking about that with friends at school? Is that where that maybe came from? Obviously, it didn't come from home.
Yes, I think I really want parents to understand that it is normal human behavior to compare. We're going to do that. We're going to compare ourselves to others. And unless we adults guide kids, they're going to compare and they're going to compete. So they're going to be at daycare or at school talking about who's prettier, who's faster, who's more this and that. And so it's up to us, the adults, to teach them how to hype each other up instead. And it's a balance, because you also want your kid to want to grow up wanting to do better and improve and aim high, right? But you can say, I want to look pretty and I want to show up and feel good. That doesn't mean I have to want to be prettier, right? And so it's that balance.
Mm. Mm.
I love that you just said it's natural to compare and to
And to
compete.
compete, yes.
Because I think one lesson that I've really had to learn as an adult is that two emotions can exist at the same time. I can be sad about something while also excited at the same time. And, especially I think that comes up with friendship. And we've talked about this, Michael, like if you see a friend that, let's say on Broadway, somebody got to be in a show, or even just in film and television, somebody got to be in a show that you really, really also wanted to be a part of. You can also be bummed that you're not a part of it, while also excited for your friend. And I think the misconception for me is that those two emotions couldn't exist at the same time. I mean, Ari, can you talk about that it's okay to, it almost feels like a roller coaster
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's human and doesn't make you a bad person, right? You're going to feel bummed, and again, you're going to compare and you're going to want to compete, and that's okay, because that's what helps us grow and be better. So it is okay to feel the competing responses, but one thing I always teach in therapy is we shouldn't act on emotion. We have our emotional brain, and then we have what in dialectical behavior therapy we call our wise mind, or you want to feel your emotions, but you also want to have rational thoughts. And it's, in a Venn diagram, it's that overlap. I'm having the rational thinking and I'm feeling my emotion, and I'm respecting both. And then I'm going to make choices based on that. So I may feel bummed that I didn't get the part, but I'm also going to be happy for my friend, and I'm not going to call them and be mean about them getting the part, right? I'm going to be rational and be kind and hype them up.
So I'm also, so when as we get older, obviously things change, and we go into, sometimes we hide more, we kind of get more extreme of like what it is that we're doing. So I'm curious, like, what is a good age for or around the age, like where does like real I think foundational friendship began? Like what is that? What around the time for us? What is that?
That's a great question because, from the moment a baby is an infant, they recognize people they know. And that's a social skill, right? Like you start to build bonds. You're more
Yes.
in tune with the people you know. They start to recognize emotions and they start to mimic another social skill, right? That empathy, that matching. Then as they get older, especially if they are in preschool and daycare and they're interacting with a lot of kids, they're going to start to build those friendships. They're going to start to show those preferences. You are going to be friends with people like you, with people that like to do the things that you like to do. And then there's going to be conflict. I was surprised that by 2 years old, my daughter was already coming home and saying, so and so doesn't want me to be friends with so and so, right? Like there was already drama at 2. So it is about, from the moment you're born, we are social creatures. It is a basic need. We have the need from the beginning. And then as we're exposed to others, those natural interactions are going to happen. You're going to gravitate to people like you, and then you're going to have those moments of high emotion and being upset. But that's another place where adults are important in helping kids talk about differences, the benefits of being different from each other, why it's good to build friendships with kids who are different from us, and ensuring that we're being kind to people that are different from us, because it's another human behavior to gravitate to something that is like us.
Michael, I think it's interesting that you bring up foundational friendships because, Dr. Hoet, what is it about friendships that you develop when you're kids? I don't know. I sometimes feel like those friendships can be stronger than even some of the friendships you make as adults. And Michael and I, for example, we became friends in high school. So we were, I think 14 and 15 when we became friends. And then we got to know each other really well throughout high school. And then we went our separate ways for like 20 years and then came back together. But it was like we hadn't skipped a beat. And there's this bond that we have that, I don't know. I mean, Michael, I don't know how you describe it, but it's like, because we knew each other when we were kids, I almost feel like we know each other so well because we go back. And what is it about, I don't know, I love foundational friendships that you said, Michael, that how do kids develop such strong bonds that can often last a lifetime?
I think think about that stage of life. You are developing your identity. You are developing who you are. You're going through it. You're making mistakes. You're growing. And so friendships that you had in that time, they know you. They were there for the good and the bad,
Yes.
right? And so there is something different. There's something different about people that stuck with you kind of through all of that. So it makes sense to feel that bond.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Michael stuck with me through my unfortunate fashion choices. I had a homecoming dress made out of green plastic. Um, he stuck with me through some interesting times.
Listen, and you stuck with me through sweater vests and like
I still wear sweater vests.
well for and capri pants, like capri shorts.
That is true.
So,
That is true.
so there's that.
One thing that someone just said to me the other day, and I forget actually where I was, but it was an individual that is at the top of their game. Literally, from a professional standpoint, they're in like the highest of rooms. And they said, at the end of the day, it's just high school. And I remember when they said that, I was like, they're right. And they were specifically meaning the personalities and the social skills and even the drama. And so I think, Dr. Hoet, as you've really reminded us, kids are learning these social skills at such a young age. And, everything that we learn as kids about how to become friends and how to socially interact with each other, it's the same as adults. Like we actually need to be reminded of all of these friendship lessons and all of these skills that we learned as kids. And as adults, we really need to, I think, constantly kind of keep ourselves in check of like, is this what we were taught? Is this how we can be a good friend? Is this how we should interact with someone? Is this how we should talk to someone? And that just really stuck with me when they said, it's just high school. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Is this how I would recommend talking to someone when to a high schooler? Is that how you should treat someone? And so yeah, I think to be a good hype friend, I think we do need to go back to when we were kids, when it was just simple, of like, you treat others as you want to be treated.
Absolutely. And I think something we all need to remember is that we're talking about social skills. There's skills is a word, right?
Yes.
You don't show up to the World Series without going to practice first, right? You have to practice. You have to build your skill. And so social skills, you
Yes.
got to practice, which means you got to interact with people. You got to talk to people. You got to go through it. Like, do it.
Oh, you just said something that we've said here on the podcast. Friendship is a practice.
Practice.
Oh, like I think, Michael, we need to make sure we say that every episode.
Yes,
Because
I
it
agree.
is something that, exactly like you just said. I mean, my husband used to play baseball, actually still is very active in baseball. And he's constantly going out and playing catch and hitting the ball and training younger players. Friendship is a practice, just like baseball is a practice or any other thing that you do. I think this is the perfect way to end this segment. I know you are very busy. We talked about this, but in a great way. You're doing so many things, Dr. Hoet. You're just helping so many kids around the world and families too. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate you sharing your time with us and teaching us on how to be good hype friends.
Yes, we just
yeah,
touched the
Michael.
surface. We've only like literally touched it. Like I literally like my brain is like, boo, 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 boo. Like I have so many things more. Like I'm just like, oh God, what about this? And what about this? What about this? So I cannot wait to keep continuing. I'm gonna build my I'm gonna call it my Ari files.
I love that.
I'm gonna call it my Ari files because I have such admiration for you and the work that you do and continue to do. I'm thank you for being so open and being able to us just ask you real questions from a real doctor. P.S.
Well, I'm just grateful to you guys for choosing me. I walked into work this morning and I was like, I get to be the neighborhood doctor. Like, this is just so exciting. So I appreciate you guys for trusting me and including me.
Oh, we are honored and we can't wait to have you back. But in the meantime, when you're not joining us on HypeFriend, where can everyone find you?
So I am active on Instagram. You can find me at Ariana Hoet, PhD.
And also check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org. Michael, Dr. Ariana Hoet, claps, jazz hands.
Jazz, claps, all the things. We can't wait to have you back.
So much, Ari, and we will see you soon.
See you soon.
Michael, are you not obsessed with her?
I'm beyond #obsessed with Ari, Dr. Ariana Hoet, Dr. Fierceness. Like I'm obsessed with it. Thank you for bringing her into our community.
She's just amazing. And you know what I love? She's so relatable too.
Yes.
She's very real.
Yes.
She's very genuine. And, genuine has like become my word of the year. She listens to you.
Yeah.
She oftentimes like, you realize she's just human. Like
Yeah.
if I say like, oh, I'm really struggling with this right now, she'll say, you know what? Me too. And sometimes you think of doctors, you're like, oh, well, they can't relate to me. You know,
Yeah.
they're a doctor. But no, she's just so real. She's so genuine, so kind, and so helpful. So I'm really excited. She's going to be a part of our Hype Hood
I
and
love
be
it.
our neighborhood doctor.
I'm obsessed. I really am. So what do you think are one last thing then? Like what I mean, I feel like I know what it is, and I feel like we might be on the same page. What do you feel like our one last thing from our conversation with Dr. Ari today is?
Well, you know, the thing that was just so, she said so many things
So many.
that were like aha moments and so profound. But I think the one thing that is just sticking in my mind is that friendship is a necessity. Like it's a basic need.
Yes, oxygen. Oh my gosh! Like she's a
Yes.
friendship is it's like oxygen. That is yes. That is we're on this. We're there. We're there.
Okay, I thought we would be because I looked at your face when she was saying that, and both of us were like,
I
but
know.
but it really should be that simple.
Yeah.
And it should be considered as that important. You know, as simple as just breathing.
Yeah.
Your body needs oxygen. You know, we need food and water. We need friendship.
Friendship. Ah. Yes. It's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. It's like hearing that is it's very comforting. It really is. It's actually very comforting, and I hope that people can feel that because to hear a doctor say it as well feels like it feels very official. You know, it feels like okay, like this is real.
You know what? I just thought of a new t-shirt. Friendship is my favorite comfort food.
Yes. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay.
Friendship
Thinking of
is my favorite
all
fried chicken.
You know what though? Our friendship is just as delicious to me as the chicken fingers on the Disney Cruise Line because we all know how
at,
good those chicken fingers are.
at 2 a.m. Yes, when you
Yes,
when you order room
yes.
service.
But you know what, Michael? Our friendship is even more delicious than those chicken tenders. Uh,
And with that,
I think we've had another amazing episode of Hype Friend. Thank you all for joining us. Once again, I'm Ashley Eckstein.
I'm Michael James Scott.
And remember, be a hype friend.
The
The
hype
hype starts
with
with
you.
you.